Hello and welcome to episode 7 of our Timberborn Update 7 Iron Teeth Project 1K playthrough. Cycle 10, day 4, still in the middle of a temperate cycle. And boy did we have a lot to talk about in the comments about sluices and dams and overflows and all this stuff. So, what we're going to do once this is completed, not before because it's still going to flood no matter what. If we can complete all of this dam structure first, then we can change our settings. But until then, we're not going to worry about it. What I am going to do is I'm going to take this levee out, and I'm going to replace it with a dam, because we do have to have the 3 pieces here to counteract the waterfall limit on each side, which is 2.2. We have a total of 6 coming out of here. That's why that has to be that way. What I'm also going to do is get them to, prioritize building this industrial pile, and then slightly prioritize the construction of these dam pieces. Good things that happened last episode. We continued expanding our production of various food things. We've got more wood, we've got more water, we've got more food, and we have a number of different crops that are able to be processed now and soon, once we actually unlock and start using the oil press to make canola oil. But things are going to, just take some time. We're going to do our best to do things correctly and not rush, because that's how you have problems. If you've been watching the Water Breeders playthrough, then you completely understand that. But overall, things are looking pretty good. Still some stuff we could fix, maybe do a little bit better, but that is the way things go. We're going to get this, not quadruple speed, triple speed. We're going to get this sped up just a little bit. Let these guys do what they can do building this. And that's going to be more or less the only thing we can do right now, is just wait for that to get taken care of. Obviously, we still have to have storage for some food things right here. Those will not be prioritized, but this will. So now there's going to be logs here, which means they can build quicker. At least from this top bit here. They're still making some nice progress there. And I think that is going to be tremendously good. We have at least 3 full days after it gets back around to this side, so technically 3.5 full days. But like I said, we've been making some very nice progress with our food industry. We're making corn rations at, well, not lightning speed, but at triple speed. It is going quite fast. And we now have to wait to get more corn grown and harvested, which is coming in slowly, 1 piece at a time. Once we have, like I said, the oil press in place, then we can take care of other stuff. But I believe that is going to require a little bit more finagling of what we're doing over here. And I do have the science, but I'm not going to start using the planks and the gears, because I think storage for water is a little bit more important. So, recognizing that, I'm going to go ahead. Here we go. There's our drought warning. Take this off at triple speed real quick. But I'm going to, since this is not irrigated land, I'm going to place this here, flip it so I can put another building there. Just try to find any space I can that isn't going to be taking away, tree growing or crop growing or whatever, for them to build that. It's just planks and gears. We do have plenty of gears. We don't have plenty of planks, but since we have 40 gears, I know I can build at least this medium tank and 1 more if I so choose, or if there's other buildings that are going to be more important for that, like, for example, the oil press that also requires the 20 gears. We're going to do that. But I am going to go ahead and turn off the gear workshop and turn on the industrial lumber mill so they can take care of that, and I will go ahead and unlock this oil press. And because of the design of this guy, the power has to come out of the sides. It can also come out of the front here. Fun fact. Oh, I still have the water beaver platforms installed. That was not supposed to be there. So we're not going to use those, but I forgot to turn that one off. The power shafts here can actually connect to the face of the building, just like this. And that is what we're going to use to get it across this path here. But since we're not going to have another one of these food factories across the way, at least not right now, what we can do, once we, unlock these other power shafts, is just go just like this into the side of another building, which is, of course, going to end up being the oil press, which we can very easily pop right there. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this. Since we're already here, might as well. Super easy. Should have no problem constructing it, and that should work splendidly well for us to be able to make some more canola. But that is going to be deprioritized because we have much more important things. Like, for example, finishing the dam. which is going to, of course, take some time. But they're making good progress here, so we can just let that be what it's going to be. Now that we know we have more stuff coming in, I am going to turn all of these pumps back on, and I'm going to pause these buildings here so we can get, you know, the beavers in the pumps, because we have storage that isn't full, and I would really love to enter the drought with completely full water storage and a completely full reservoir, which we can reasonably achieve if the beavers apply themselves. They can still reach that. That's good. It's going to say they can't reach this because this one's not finished, but that is going to be what it's going to be. And I think in 2.7 days they are going to be able to finish this if we just don't give them any other jobs to do. These guys pumping, of course, is going to be important. This is important to have built, but it's not more important than having this. You know how it goes. So put this on 2x speed just so they can get a little bit more stuff done. And, you know, while they're doing that, yes, I made a spelling error. And by spelling, I mean my Roman numerals were incorrect. So there you go. That's fixed. This is now 27. It's not supposed to be 28. So we can hopefully appreciate that. But like I said, you know, the growing of food has gone terrifically well in this playthrough, and once we have a little bit more in the way of industrial production for planks and stuff, then we can, you know, upgrade these to larger storages. We can start using dynamite to blast out parts of the map for more water storage. So many opportunities, and believe me, we're going to be using a lot of dynamite. It's incalculable the amount of dynamite we're going to need to totally transform this for 1,000 beavers, which we're not going to give up on until it is absolutely impossible. And then we're probably still going to keep going. Someone else asked if these sluices are set correctly. They are. They're fine. These are obviously fine. But now we just have... too far from the district. Well, you know how you fix that problem is you just put a path on top of it. And now they can reach it from here, which has logs at the end. Shouldn't be a big deal at all. So what we're going to do, like I said, when they finish this, is we're going to talk about what we're going to do with the sluice and the floodgate settings. Because, again, a lot of you have a lot to say about a lot of this stuff. And it's good advice. So I'm going to try my best to try and understand it. And hopefully not, you know, completely bungle the implementation of that. But, you know, I like where we're at. We have 2 days left before the drought. We just have these 2 pieces left. Should not be a problem whatsoever for that to get done. We are still pumping water. There's still some space left. And, you know, we don't have all 30 planks we need for this. Obviously, I paused this. Not really that big of a deal. I just really, really want them to finish this before we even think about doing anything else. It's important. It's important to have water storage. So now all we need is these last 12 logs, which they are very conveniently grabbing from right there. And this should be finished before the end of the day. Well, in-game. Let's get a little bit more here. Got these 2 beavers bringing this stuff in, and that should be all she wrote as soon as somebody comes back and hammers on this thing. Now I look like an insane person talking when there's nothing happening, but there you go. So that is now finished. So let's talk a little bit about this. Obviously, yes, a very, very, very common thing that was said in the comments was, hey, you need to have 3 of these. We have 3 of those. The next thing was, you know, the discussion about the sluices and the floodgates and so on and so forth. Let's keep in mind... I'm just, for the sake of my sanity, I'm just going to pause it. It's fine. The sluices are not supposed to, according to you, and according to me and my rational brain when things are working correctly, not supposed to be used for continuous flow management the way that I've been using them. But because we don't have any other options, that's how they have to be used. In an ideal scenario, yes, this would be set to, say, 0.5, just to keep things irrigated without taking too much water from here. And these would be set higher than that, which now they are. I'm going to say this is 0.75 just to be nice and... Well, it's not a round number, but it's a 3/4... Anyway, whatever. Now that the dam is complete, with the correct amount of overflow, this is fine. Because these sluices will only open when the prescribed level here is insufficient to fulfill whatever this says. As long as the floodgate has room for overflow to go off, which at 0.75 it should, then whatever comes through here is going to be totally fine because the amount of edges here is the same or greater than the amount of edges here, which is the same or greater than the amount of edges here, which is the same or greater than the amount of water coming out of here. If all of that matches, then it should be totally fine. And now that this does match, we should be good. And that will allow us, once again, to have this operating in automatic mode. Both of these set the same way. Somebody said, hey, you can just permanently close one of these, but if we have the levels set correctly, it should be fine. Now, we will play on single time speed, because water physics get absolutely broken when you play on the faster speeds. I don't know why it's always been like that, but now this will very slowly fill up as this stops putting water forth. See, these are closed now. It's not going to be sloshing quite as much. And we'll see this very peacefully begin rising. We have 1.7 days. Should have no problem filling in that time. And then it will get to not all the way up here, but it will very, very calmly come over here. There will be no problems, and everyone will be happy. For at least a small moment in time. Now I can turn on the industrial lumber mill, and I can get them in here making more planks so they can build... that's the wrong thing. They can build this. Remember, they already have the gears. They just need to have the planks, which they're already bringing some of them over. That is fine. We're still pumping because we have a little bit of empty space. I doubt they can actually finish this by the time the drought starts. But, you know, we have to have beavers to be able to work this, so I'm going to pause both of those water pumps, because, again, we have 1,000 water, we're going to have this almost completely full. It's going to be fine. We need to have planks so we can have more water storage, so we can keep pumping. It's going to be alright. Going to be totally fine. Obviously, we're still working on this. You know, the planks that are already earmarked for this have already, you know, been put in. I guess that's fine. It's the way it is, but we need to have more planks. So I'm going to take this out. We're not going to need this again, because the next time we expand this reservoir, it's going to be straight lines. We're not going to be dealing with this nonsense. This is just the fastest way to build with the resources I had access to at the time. So there's 6 planks here. We can have those builders grab. Again, you can see this filling very calmly with no chaos. And that's going to be just fine. This, as soon as this platform is finished, will be more storage for fermented cassavas that we are not currently fermenting because I paused this building. It is now unpaused. These guys are still pumping because I told them to be pumping. We're getting close to filling this up without any additional storage. So I'm going to pause 2 more pumps and get these guys back into some of these other buildings. Now we can do some more fermenting for the cassavas. Continue filling up our food. We can, you know, do all sorts of other stuff. We got some nice storage now. Relatively. So, probably should be planting some more corn very soon. We will see. We'll see what happens here. I do have space up here. As long as there is clean water here. Bad water is going to, you know, poison all this. But this is going to be a good opportunity for us to plant some more corn. Like I said, so just check our range. Oh, we're so good. So good on range. It never hurts to have more stuff grown. Never, ever, ever hurts to have that. So we'll have that there. I guess I probably don't need to have more canola right now because we're not even doing anything with what we have. Raw cassava, we're very, very full on. Eggplant's going to be a good thing to have later on as well. And also it basically only costs labor to have it, you know, growing. So that's fine there. And now we are overflowing here, and it does have a little bit of flooding, but it shouldn't. It shouldn't have that much. It should equal out. And if not, then I just have to lower this, which I will go ahead and do. Remember, these are closed, and the overflow is just doing all of the work. Now I am going to triple speed this because I hate staring at that. But now, problem is solved. And since we're using every scrap of water we can possibly use, then I wish I would have had another layer put on here, but I didn't have the time. We can work on that during this drought, now that we have actual logs, and we can work on making it actually straight. All the way to here. Little bits and pieces. So in preparation, I'm going to unplant those. We will just continue going straight the way across here, and that's going to be that. And we can also, blast stuff out here, but limited time, limited resources. Now we need more planks, which they are currently still making, and I am no longer afraid to have this on triple speed, so we'll go ahead and do that. I actually don't have basically anything else in the notes for this episode except fix the district center number and talk about all of this, which we have done. So I'm going to consider that to be a success. But we're not going to end the episode yet because, it's been 15 minutes at least. And we obviously still have tons of stuff to go. Tons of stuff to do. We're getting there. Getting there on the planks for this. And if they can have this finish before the drought starts, then we're going to be in pretty good shape. We can continue pumping for a little while yet. I am going to, right before, and I mean right before the drought starts, I'm going to close the floodgates completely so we get a little bit more water. Obviously, I don't want to have, surge floods everywhere, but you do what you can do. So just start slowly raising this at single speed because the physics get weird. We also, if I had the extra time and I had the extra resources, I would have, continued building up here too. But we shouldn't get greedy. We should take the time to do things correctly and appreciate the opportunities we've been afforded by the game to not have completely horrible things happen. But again, Forester here can plant and cut down. Well, I don't have them cutting them down right now, but if we ever had a wood problem, we could immediately cut all these down and, get out of that. But I think we finally, quote-unquote, grown into our oak trees here. It comes up every time. We do one of these big tree farms here, and someone thinks that it's a really terrible idea to just plant a whole bunch of oaks all at once. Well, if they sit there uncut, that's not really that big of a deal, because as soon as they're cut, they're going to be replanted. And they can't all be replanted at the same time anyway, because it has to be one at a time. So it evens out. It's not like breeding pods or housing infill for beaver population or anything like that. It ends up being just fine. It's just going to look a little funky. It's worth waiting. If time is an infinite resource, which in a playthrough like this it basically is, then you don't need to be stingy with how you're using it, unless you have to, solve problems really quickly. But like I said, close these things all the way up. Get a little bit more water here as this continues overflowing. And we're going to find out just how long of a drought we're about to have. Hopefully I timed that right so there's no flooding. It should be just fine. How many days? 15. 15 days. Cool 15. I think that is going to be just fine. Again, they actually just finished this a little while ago and there's some water in there. That's good. Now, in 15 days, all of this water will not be gone because we have smartly managed things. But what's happened here that I forgot about is there's no water up here. I didn't shut this. That was a bad mistake. So that's regrettable. These are all going to die, and I'm not going to, try to. Where am I? Okay, hold up. We have 1 day. 1.8. Now, this might be kind of dumb. However. Oh, actually, I don't have the planks anyway. I couldn't make that happen. I was going to say, I could just put a fluid dump here and we can, cheese it with splashing. But we already have basically full food storage, minus the corn rations. You know what? We're going to do it anyway. Why not? Why not? Just do it. If nothing else to lose. We do have to turn this engine on, though, so we can continue making the planks to take care of stuff. I don't have any storage for scrap metal either, outside of this, which I don't really have a great place to put a large industrial pile over these, so I guess I'm just going to keep on putting in a couple of these small ones, but we will very slowly, and I do mean slowly, make our way to improving all this stuff. I kind of want to start building the next level of this, but we are... oh, you guys are going to love this. Going one piece at a time. We do unfortunately have to build this one piece at a time. But I just had the idea that, you know, since we're building one piece at a time, I can stack them. Just like that. And, you know, the wood is going to take time to get in here, but we have some that's not cut. These are at 72%, which on 30 days is still, you know, 7, 8 days. Probably closer to 8. But it's a 15-day drought, so we have time. We can make it work. Yeah, if I can actually get these guys to make planks, we might save some of these. Not all of them, but might save some. I don't know where the rest of the planks are going. I actually don't remember what I had. Aha! It's the oil press. Well, we'll pause that, and then we'll also pause that. Not that they were using those anyway, because this is a higher priority, but I think it would be kind of fun. I think it would be kind of fun to, you know, try to save some of our crops just because we can. I think we can do it. You know, maybe the eggplants might die, but if we can get a couple more planks. Hey, look at that, look at that. 2 more planks? Any more planks? Any? Come on. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, get up here. Get up here and drop some water. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. We're flooding the eggplants. They're going to die. But now they have been splashed. This can be paused. And then, you know, they're going to last another couple days. You know, what's going to be really funny is I'm probably going to forget that this is here, and then bad things are going to continue to happen. But now we can keep working on this. I'll just put that on double speed just to be safe. And then, obviously, we can keep going here as well. I can build... I think I can build that piece without worrying about whatever. I can have that there, that there, that there, that there without any other stuff happening. I don't think I can actually get into these corner bits here from where I am, or where I'm going to be. That's unfortunate. Well, if I have the planks, which I really need to turn that over. Why would I ever want to build this in a normal playthrough? I'm just going to put a platform there just so I can access. We'll get the planks back. It's going to be fine. But I do need to actually build all the rest of this stuff, which this has to go up 1, 2, 3, 4 like this to match that height. And yes, even though I said there's no diagonals, it's that much cheaper to just put one of these here. It's going to be fine. Going to be just fine. All right, let's check this again. Says it dies in 0.8 days. All we have to do is just splash this once. Splash it a little tiny bit. The corn is a little bit more forgiving, but we've already started down this road of stupidity and pointless nonsense, so we might as well just go ahead and keep going. It probably would be smart for me to have blasted a tiny hole right here. But now I've got an eggplant there, and I don't want to waste my dynamite when I could also be using the dynamite over here to increase our capacity of the reservoir. Which, again, lots of dynamite is going to be used. It's going to be what it's going to be. And I do need to probably start processing some more corn, but we're also not really growing that much here. Obviously, these aren't going to be very grown at all by the time this finishes, unless I feel like splashing it forever. But these will last another 1 day, so I guess we'll turn it on right at the beginning of quote-unquote tomorrow in the game. Log supply is still, you know, being log supply. We are going to have to, you know, put in other dam pieces as time goes by. But I think... Oh, we don't have storage for cassavas, do we? We need these beavers to be eating these things. I don't really want to destroy them. Obviously, this cassava storage is going to have to move as well. And since this is going to be poisoned land anyway, why don't we go ahead and start moving food storage over here, since it's not going to be able to really be grown. So we'll do cassava. Raw cassava storage probably is fine to put over here. And do what we got to do. Leave that like that so I can put more storage in that place. You know how it goes. Alright. Triple speed that. Unpause this. Have them splash this at the start of the day. Just to be fine. Oh, I guess there was no more water left in there. Alright, that solves that problem. at least for a little bit until that dries up, and then we have to do it again, but it'll be fine. We'll make our way through this. Now, if I really, you know, had a good idea what I was doing, I would just blasted this, but I've already committed. So that's done. That's done. I probably should continue working back here, but I think it's going to be harder to get all of this taken care of. This farmhouse being paused probably also does not help. Let's unpause that. I know we don't have a whole lot of beavers right now, but plenty of stuff that could possibly be deprioritized. I know we already have these guys fine, so we're really only down 2 jobs. Remember when this says 7. That's fine. This farmhouse probably, you know, doesn't have to be like that. I probably should slightly deprioritize the builders, but I would like them to be able to build. We have this much water. I'm going to pause the water pumps so we don't have as much evaporate right now. There will come a time where I'm going to have to remove these dams before we build this any taller, but I'm pretty sure the water is going to be all gone past this point before we get to that. Alright, so they're doing good work there. That's continuing there. I just need to get these cassavas out. I probably should just have them, you know, demolished, because, you know, what's the point? But, it's fine. Oh, you know what I forgot? Is that these are also not going to be accessible unless I demolish the cassava storage here. So this will need to be set to empty, which that will fill up immediately as soon as that's finished. That's fine. I did talk about, you know, getting more wood out of these trees. These are not ready to be harvested. These are closer, but still not very. 76, 40%. I've got these pine trees here at 14, 16. These are still cuttable. Each tree is 2/3 of a levy. Let's just keep that in mind. 2/3 of a levy piece. So we are going to have to be waiting a little bit there. Got 1 day left on these guys, 1.8. I'm just going to, you know, triple speed through a little bit of this. Before the end of the day here... Well, actually, you know what? No, I don't have to. I can start it at the top of the next day. I just can't forget, or else bad things will happen. Alright, so that's just about finished. This can get emptied. I could also just, you know, delete it, and then there'd be stuff on the ground, but we're not going to do that. Alright, at 0.6. Is this already full? Oh, it's going to be dangerously full. Well, this one's also about to be done. Alright, 0.4 days, 0.5 days, 0.4. These are at 1.1. I'll go ahead. I'll throw these eggplants a bone here. Just let that water out. Pause it. Cool. Problem solved. This just immediately, you know, gets unwet, but that's fine. Still making good progress here. This is empty. That means it can be removed. Then we can continue putting in levee bits here. They should be able to build all of this from this one platform. If not, we will demolish it and build another one somewhere else. Should not be a tremendously huge issue. Yeah, see, we're not growing nearly enough corn for the appetite these beavers have for it. Hence why I'm, you know, trying to micro grow the corn here, keep it alive. It'll be fine during a, you know, a temperate cycle, but it is what it is. Good thing they can still build this from the other side there. Now they can build that from there. I'll just, you know, take care of that way. Alright, 0.4 days. I'll try to wait a little bit longer. This doesn't have any water in it, though, so we probably shouldn't wait too much longer than that. Alright. Come on down. Come on down. There you go. Oh, these didn't get splashed, did they? Nope, 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 nope. Come on. Come on. These corns at the edge here did not get splashed. There we go. There we go. Pause that. Alright, so these can't be reached. Let's take this out at triple speed. Alright, that platform goes away, and in its place, again, the water beavers platforms. I'm going to pop that there, which is going to allow us to do that. And then, obviously, at some point, we're going to have to just, you know, build straight the way across. But good news is these are now completely done, which means I can build this, and they can come in from multiple sides here. And then I can start with these bits here. And once this goes down a little bit, I can tear these levees down, and we'll get a little bit more. Well, we're not tearing these down. Let's make that clear to myself and to you. But these, as the level continues to go down, can be removed. And again, part of the reason I'm not pumping is so that we preserve as much of this as we can. We still have tons in storage. That is absolutely fine. We're making a very nice amount of planks, but I'm going to go ahead and pause that so we don't use any more of those logs. And I'm going to turn on the gear workshop instead so we can continue making some more water storage. Because you know we're going to need that. And I'm also going to turn on this oil press so we can start making canola oil, which will also need storage. So it's going to be smart if we go ahead and do a medium tank here just for the canola oil, because if we start using a lot of that and then we run out, then it's going to be a bad time. But for now, everything is looking pretty okay. No real huge complaints there. I guess we can power through the night here. These eggplants may actually drown due to my incompetence, but it's also keeping these things watered long enough to, do a little bit more growth, which is, I guess, a good thing. Okay, that has dried up. That's good. That's good. We have a full 1 day now, which means we can go most of today without splashing that. Progress continuing here. It says we're dropping logs dangerously, but okay, well, that's going to be taken out of context. We're doing fine. We're doing fine. Because now we're just about at the point where I can go ahead and delete those, get that wood back. That's going to be great. We're going to be making some very nice progress just as soon as they can finish most of that. And I guess, even though this is going to end up going away at some point soon-ish, I do have my stairs here. Okay, so that says 0.5 days. This says 0.5. They should all say 0.5, and this should say 1 point something. All right. So, this has water. It does not have water. Okay, so this will definitely be dead by the time they wake up. So let's unpause the fluid dump. Get our beaver in here. Where's the beaver that's tasked with this? Okay. All right. There's no water here, bud. There's no water here. You're going to have to go get some. What are you doing? You going in to check that there's no water, or are you just going to remember from the day before that there was no water before you left? I love the little... Oh, I guess there was water. There's just enough to splash this, but it still said 0. All right, well, you know what? I am sorry for doubting you. You did a very good job. I'm proud of you. That's fine. Okay, so that's progressing there. I think it's still a tiny bit higher. And now we are starting to get, low on the logs, but these are going to help us there. These trees are going to start in the next maybe 4 or 5 days, yielding a little bit more in the way of logs. And trust me, once this is up 2 more blocks, this is going to be so much more water. Things are going to they're going to be so much better. Just got to trust the process. So that one's done. Now we can come in here and we can build the rest of these. We will have to have some sort of access to the top here, which honestly I probably could have left that platform in. So you know what? I'll just put a double platform here instead, and we'll do stairs like that. That's going to be the easiest way for us to build that. I know it's from the inside of the reservoir. That's not going to be the most ideal scenario forever, but for the access we have right now, it's going to be the fastest way to build this way, and then also build this way as we continue working around here. So now that this access is in, we can go ahead and start the process of building up here. I'm going to do this right here, these two first, and then we're going to have this staircase go up, and then we'll go across. We have plenty of time. Things are looking pretty good. We've got a full day on the eggplant. Unfortunately, we are going to have to splash it at the very end of the next day. That'll be fine. These trees obviously are still good. We are up to 40 beavers, which means I probably can afford to turn on one more of these buildings. We still have 1,000 food. I remain deeply unconcerned about food or water at this time. We do still have 264 cassavas. I probably should have had one of these be for fermented cassavas. What do I have here? I see I just have one. We need to get, this is what I really should be doing, need to get the population up to maybe about 50, and then I can start building some more industrial stuff. But remember, our long-term goal is to have 1,000 beavers. And we're never going to get to that if we grow the population too much, too quickly. This is very much an endurance type of challenge versus a sprint. It is going to take a long time. That is just the nature of it. There's not really much else we can or should do about that. But do need to try and make smart choices. Remember that these trees are going to start coming in slowly, so we may have the ability to divert some attention away from builders in favor of doing some of these other tasks while we wait for trees to grow. So I do think we are going to end up doing that. I don't want to use all of the logs yet, but I think the I think the levees we have in place now are going to use all of the logs before we before we have too much else going on. Pausing just for my own sanity. The oil press says I don't have planks, but I definitely do. I definitely do. This, I'm going to unpause. That's going to be fine there. Well, it's probably because the builders are still working on all of this stuff. So I'm going to take this out of minimum priority. Let's also not forget to splash these before the beavers go home for the day. And then I'm going to start deprioritizing building. We'll take care of some other stuff and then see what it is we can see. All right. Down to the bottom of the clock there. Sun starts going down. Surprise, surprise. You've been called into the office. Hey, you were already over here. Good. This is different, beaver, from before. Somebody quit. All right, good job. Just come in here and release some water. Reset these crops. Make them grow a tiny, tiny, tiny bit. And then that will solve most of our problems. Hopefully. There we go. You've done well. Now these will grow for another 3 microseconds, and then that's going to be fine. All right, I can see the tops of this next thing. So we get all that wood back. No flooding. Just as I had planned. Yes, they already have 12 there. They got 2 there. That there. Most of that wood is going to go to that unless I put a stop to it. So let's deprioritize for right now. Deprioritize that. Deprioritize that. And then I'm going to take the builders out. Minimum priority those guys. We already have minimum priority in the inventor. Actually, you know what? No. You know what? That gets to be that. But instead, now I can have... this is waiting on logs. Okay, this is now the biggest priority. We'll get this tank built. I don't have the gears quite yet, but they are in the process of making those, so that should be tomorrow. And then we can start making oil in the oil press, which means we can finally start doing something with all those eggplants. And that's going to be good. I'm also going to start... we do have storage for explosives. I'm going to start making dynamite again. We do have a small amount of bad water. That's going to be fine. Again, water storage is looking really good. No complaints there. I think we are in a pretty good spot. So we'll get this triple speed rolling here. Should have some of these trees growing up within the next day or two, which it looks like those will be. Yep, so this is dry again. We have a full day, which unfortunately means we're going to have to splash this at the very, very end here. Do we have water in here? It says no, but yeah, I don't think that's going to be a problem. Alright, this is now working. We've got canola oil, which means I'm going to go ahead and eggplant this, turn this on. It will store 60 eggplant rations, but we should have storage for those. And since there's no corn rations being made, I'm just, for the sake of using what we have, going to switch this over to eggplant rations. We have 102 eggplants stored, which, if you've been paying attention, is going to allow us to have 600, assuming we have enough canola oil, 600 eggplant rations. That's a lot of eggplants, folks. I guess the plural of eggplant is still eggplant, but yeah, whatever. This is not a linguistics course. If it were, I'd probably not be a very good teacher of that. But I digress. They're still grabbing the rest of these logs for our other stuff we're trying to build here. Still trying to make some gears, and hopefully... Okay, well, I guess by the end of today that's not going to happen because it needs 5 more, and this takes 3 hours to make a single gear. But things are improving, progressing nicely. We now have 41 beavers, including 1 homeless beaver. So we do need to build some more housing. I don't want to spend 600 science yet on the row houses, but those are going to be our very best friends as we continue moving forward. Maybe in several episodes, but boy oh boy. Boy oh boy is that going to be fun. I'm not going to build more barracks quite yet. We can deal with having a homeless beaver. That should be fine. That's minimum priority. That's good. That's still medium priority. That's good. A couple of these tomorrow should be making some nice wood for us here. Yeah, so once those start coming in, we'll get a little bit more. We are going to need a couple hundred more logs to really, you know, make a dent in the rest of this. We're also going to need to pump some more wood so we can take these 4 or 5 pieces of levee out. And then, of course, the rest of the stuff. It's going to take time. It's going to take time. But it's going to be worth it. It's going to be good. Let's not forget, we have to splash these. So, continue through to the end of the day here. Get a beaver in here. Splash those things. Move on with our lives. Okay, it looks like they ran out of water. But the eggplants have been splashed. And I guess that's what matters. I guess that's fine. We're going to get more water out of here overnight? No? Okay, well, you know what? You know what? That works out okay. That works out okay, because now I can kind of half reset this. So I got one there, one there. Yes, that's going to remain paused. It is full of water now. So, I know the micromanagement of the fluid dump is like not the most exciting thing ever, but it keeps me you know, focused on stuff, which can only be good for other things. We have these trees starting to grow. We're going to start to amass some logs. That'll be fine. 0.6, 0.6. That says 0.5. Yeah, I'm going to just hold off a little tiny bit more. Get somebody up here to let that fluid out. And then we should be good. If this floods a tiny bit, then that might actually be better long term. There we go. All right, so now we're starting to see those logs come back in. This full stack is built, which is, again, very good. I'm going to cautiously start building here, here, and then here and here. Remember, these have been deprioritized, even though I guess they haven't quite finished that one yet. The reason why I'm doing these two this height first is so I can start removing, once this slope is gone, I can start removing these guys. And if, for some reason, we don't have enough wood to actually finish this, we'll still have a functional reservoir at a lower height rather than this giant hole. That can only be a good thing. How are we looking on eggplant rations? We got 30. These are, you know, doing their thing. We do have storage for the canola oil, which is good. Gonna need to have more water storage, although we haven't finished filling what we have now because we haven't pumped anything. We're gonna need to get these guys pumping before I can get rid of the rest of this. But you know how it goes. In fact, since we still have 6 days left, what I can probably do is get rid of these dams, which took 20 pieces of wood to build. I'll get 15 back, and then I can replace those with levees. I will net 9 logs for doing that, which, you know, is 3/4 of another piece of levee. So that's exciting. And then this, once this is finished, this staircase here, then that's going to help us build across this way a lot quicker. Things are going to be tremendously good. This is about as high as we can make this levee for right now, because then we'd have to go around this corner, and that's going to take time as well. But since this is straight minus this, which is just a much more economically viable way of solving that problem versus, you know, getting over here and building another like 4 or 5 levees, that's going to add so much more capacity, and we're going to be in really, really good shape. But again, we can't go too quick on that because we don't have a lot of logs. But we are making good strides everywhere else. The 600 water that we have is theoretically enough to last the next 6 days. Maybe not with the irrigation and the other stuff we're doing with it, but we are making good progress nonetheless. Keep in mind our 5 empty stuff, jobs, things are the inventors. We do still have all 8 builders. I guess these eggplants are still flooded, but the corn is growing. That's exciting. All right, go ahead and get this triple speed going here. Yeah, we're going to have to start pumping kind of soon, but I feel pretty good about where we are now. Bits and pieces here and there. Going to be just fine. Seeing how this is, how it is, I'm going to let these guys finish putting that stuff in there, and then I'm going to, yeah, I'm going to take these dams out. Just finish building this one piece and we'll be fine. Make sure these don't die on me. That would be a terrible, terrible tragedy. Alright. Those are gone. Now we can replace them with 3 more levees. 45 logs all the way down there. That's pretty good. Pretty good. 0.7 days. This is still 1.8. That is fine. And now some of these are a third of the way grown. Of course, the eggplant is comparatively a lot less because this has been flooded most of the time, so that says 9%, that says 9%. These are at 30%, though. You know, that's not nothing. That's a 12-day progression to be a quarter of the way done. That's pretty good. Pretty good. But I'm going to go ahead and put in 2 beavers in the pumps so they can continue trying to fill up our storage. Make some more progress here. We have to remember that somebody has to be present for this. But again, just take it one step at a time. Alright. Unpause that. Get a beaver up here. Oh, it selected this one that's already a builder. Okay, that's rough. Alright, temporary work hour extension here so I can save my crops. I'm drip watering. Yeah, see they're gathering those logs to rebuild all this. They're still working on these 2. But again, that's going to help us come in from this way, then we can kind of start building either way from there. Alright, get some water here. Get some water here, because these crops are going to die, and I'm not going to be happy if I've been chasing these things for the past 30 minutes in game. Just splash them, and we can all move on with our lives. There you go. Good job. Good job. Yeah, we'll just pause that right now. Back to 18-hour days we go. Alright, so this is looking pretty good here. They can no longer get across to build this because of reasons, but that's fine. They got the materials to build these 2. We got more trees coming online every day. They're still getting planted there. And the mangrove trees that we are no longer cutting down are continuing to spread down here. That's looking good. Still have just that one homeless beaver, but you know, they'll get over it. It's fine. Things progressing splendidly, if I do say so myself. Alright, so let's put this on triple speed for a little while longer, let this thing play out a tiny bit more. I would really like to get as much of the rest of that dam built as I can in this episode, but you know how it goes. You know how it goes. And before you say anything about taking the dams out, remember, it's in service of expanding the height. If it means we can have one more level by the end of the next temperate cycle, then that's what I'm going to focus on doing. But I didn't want to just go ahead and put in dams because, you know, that's how that goes. Alright, so we have 1 full day from this exact time. That's very good. That's very good. We can leave that alone. Still getting more wood here. We're still, you know, burning logs to run all of this equipment, but it is doing some very good stuff for us. We're crushing the canola seeds to make the oil. We don't have any stored here because I think we're consuming it about as fast as we can produce it. 1.3 hours we make 1 drop. Every half hour we use 1 drop, so this is operating at a less than efficiency, I guess, if you will. So to give them a chance to catch up, I'm going to switch this back to corn because corn does not use the canola oil, and we do have some raw corn that we can turn into stuff. We have 43 units of corn, which will make us 200-something rations. So that's good. Yep, trees coming in very, very slowly. This is now finished. These 2 here. That was a big step. This being connected here is a big step. I'm going to go ahead and say that for the benefit of the beavers, we're going to need to go ahead and say we're only going to increase 1 level, which is still going to be a lot. Combined with this, it's still going to be a lot. But we really need to make sure that we don't cause any other substantial problems. We can always build on top of these and then just remove the dams one piece at a time instead of saying, oh, I have to have everything super tall. No. But before we do that, I do want to put in 2 here. Remember, we are still pumping water out, and then we can take these out once I have this gone as well. So, we are going to need to have access to back here, which will be somewhat easily accomplished by us. I really should not have built this second levee here. I guess I'm going to have to get rid of it, because that's just going to be the easiest way for us to go about building stuff. But once this is going to be the last piece, this one right here is going to have the last piece of the, I guess we'll say the 5th level, because that's what we can see here, even though some of these other bits are taller, just because they have to be able to get through here. But I'm pretty sure, provided, this isn't going to cause an enormous problem, I think we can leave this open, at least until we have the drought or bad tide warning in the next temperate cycle. So from this point, at the very least, we have 9 full days. In 9 full days, the trees that we're going to get are going to include probably most of these oaks. Not all of them, but the majority. That's going to be fine. We just need to be able to actually finish constructing the stuff. So, I'm going to start on these edges here, just to do what we can. And remember, they can come in from here to build this one, but if I want to build this from here, I have to have something else for them to stand on. We also, if we want to use a lot of science and a lot of logs and a lot of wood, we can use suspension bridges. Yes, that is a good option. But when you're only going up 1 level, it really doesn't make sense to do it that way. Because, well, you have to be 1 level higher than that to be able to do anything with it, and we don't have a ton of science. I don't want to use all the science, and also it's not really that serious yet. Now, later on, if we're ever building like 2, 3, 4 levels at a time, then obviously, yes, the suspension bridge is going to be a much better way to do it. But for right now, with what we have, without ladders, by the way, this is probably the best way to do it. Got half a day. Gonna have to splash these probably right around the 1 o'clock part of the clock here that isn't 1 o'clock to the beavers, but I digress. You know what I'm talking about. Alright, so I don't see water here. Let's go ahead and unpause this. Get a beaver up here. I see 0.2 days. Okay, where's my beaver? Where's my beaver that's working this? Where are you? Oh no. Oh no. No. You better get up here. Oh jeez. I'm really gonna do it, aren't I? Oh well, these still have a day. Oh no. Okay. All right. Yep. I bungled it, and these were 30% grown too. All right. Dispense. All right. Okay. We lost like 4 things of eggplants, but it's fine. These are still 35. That says 0. Yeah. Okay. That's my fault. It's my fault, but we're gonna be okay. Gonna be fine. This has got to be like the most boring episode ever. But we're getting stuff done. Oh, yikes. It's already 54 minutes. This is what happens when you play on the single speed. Ugh, man. Well, at the very least, we can continue building these 1 piece at a time. Very, very, very slowly. Like I said, these trees are all about to come up all at once. And that's going to make it possible for us to get a lot of stuff done really, really fast. So this is where it's going to come in very handy that we have all these I say all these lumberjack flags. We have 3, but once we have enough that the like 2 that aren't deprioritized can't keep up with, then we're going to have that all taken care of. All right. So now I've got a whole day, which means I'm not going to wait quite that long, because we did lose, we lost a couple we lost some good eggplants that day. Yeah, we're getting along. We're getting along just fine. The main problem with building levees one piece at a time is that you end up with a lot of delays because you can't have all the beavers coming in all at once. But I think we can kind of mitigate this. I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna get rid of that one piece right there. Gonna get rid of this one staircase right here. And then since we have some planks, and these are only planks now, I'm just gonna do that. Nice and easy. We'll just come right across the top here. I'm gonna take this out. And that way, we can have these guys all work at the same time. So how that's going to get accomplished is I'm going to have them build this first. These guys can build here. And then these guys, because they can't reach any of this, can keep going that way. It's all about making sure everything that can get done gets done as fast as we can. Keep in mind we do still have to take care of that. Okay, I can now take these out. That's fine there. Got a little bit more to keep up with. And then this can also go away here. Give us a little bit more space for the water to go into. And we get a little bit more wood back from that. Now we're looking real good. Now we're looking real good. So we'll get that done there. Looks like that's about to be finished, which means we can come in here. We still have 2.6 days. These are got half a day here. Try to stretch it as much as we can without being stupid about it. Yes, sirree, we're making it work. We're making it work. All right, so 0.3 days there. I'm not gonna play games. I'm just gonna have them come in here. I mean, we literally are playing a game, but I'm gonna have them come up here and splash our stuff. Yeah, see that beaver was busy doing something else before. Glad I gave him the time. Glad I gave him the time. All right. No, you stupid idiot. Why are you going all the way over there? It's going to happen again because this beaver was already engaged in a job. All right. You better get over here. You better do it. Come on. It's going to be my own fault again. Yep, it happened again. Well, this was always a flawed strategy. But at least we kept the corn and most of the eggplants alive. I guess at this point it's probably half of them. Man. I do realize the flaw in having them come through here to build on the backside, but you know, sometimes that's just the way it's gotta go. They can't build up any further than this, and that's unfortunate, and I'm not going to be building a giant scaffolding out of planks because you know how that goes. Pause this. I guess we're doing fine. We're doing alright. Remember, we do still have a minimum of 5 days with which to build the rest of these. It is a very slow process, yes, but it's going to be a lot more water storage, and we're going to be in a tremendously, tremendously good position. Still pressing canola oil seeds. We still have 240. Wow. So that's good. One of those seeds makes one delicious squelching noise and 1 unit of canola oil. So this tank will hold every canola seed we have harvested now once it's pressed, and we're still growing more here. So that is going to work out tremendously well. Can't forget to splash this before the end of the day. Working here. Working here. Working on that as well. We have the logs. We have the logs to do all this. So probably what's going to make more sense, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to build a staircase here. What that's going to allow me to do is place all of these levees down after I build this first one here, and then they can just automatically build all of it so I don't have to micromanage it. We can go on to you know, more important tasks like micromanaging eggplants. But you love this anyway. Yeah, see now these guys have exhausted their usefulness building up here. We don't have... Yeah, I gotta pause for this one. I absolutely have to put in an industrial pile here. Just a little one. Because this is now where most of the wood's going to be going. And I don't have another spot over here. See, I ran into this problem before. But you know what? I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of kohlrabies. We're not using them anyway, so... We're going to demolish that. We're going to put a little wood pile here. Somewhere, someone is cheering at their computer. But you know how this goes. Let's go ahead and, lest I, make more horrific mistakes here, let's just go ahead and splash this. Because you know the beaver that's responsible for doing this is probably off doing something else. And okay, that solved that problem real quick. Take this off at triple speed. Nice and easy. Still going here. This just needs the one log. Actually, tell you what. That one I'm going to remove because now what I want to do, take my paths out without removing the levees. Be very, very careful. Now what I want to do is I want to build, get that path out of there. I want to build the path behind, or the levee, that's what it's called, behind it, so then they can't silly-billy themselves. And that's going to solve that problem. I do have 11 explosives. I probably could send someone down here to set those off. But I'd rather build capacity by height first. You can always send somebody in here later. Making progress. Making progress. Still have more of these trees coming online slowly. We have 163 logs ready to go now. That's looking good. This is about time to have a log storage here. Let's go ahead and get that situated. Doing what we can, folks. Doing what we can. Alright, so that one gets built next. Can't forget to splash this before actually. It says one day. Alright, we'll wait till tomorrow. Okay, now, to pause the game, we're going to put all those in. We're going to put that one in. And then we can also build this, because they're only going to be able, well, they can build this one and this one at the same time, because, one beaver, one spot. But now we can finish this front bit. And then, all we're going to have to do is build this here, because they will just automatically micromanage themselves over here. That is going to be tremendous. Big, big improvements. So I've got 4 beavers, which means I technically have 9. No, that's not how that works. I technically have 1. I read this as +4 instead of -4. What in the world are you talking about? I don't know either. We have gears. We have some planks. I know we're only half full on our storage. Actually, barely more than a third at this point, like 40%. But we need to start planning for the mass pumping that's going to happen during this temperate cycle. So, while they're still building this, we can recognize that's a very important thing. But we have 8 beavers who are builders. Up to 8 beavers. We currently have 8 beavers. We need to continue building additional tanks. And they're going to continue making planks if I let them, but I think, even we have 150-ish logs. We have trees that are continuing to grow so we can harvest them. We're going to need most of them to finish building this, we'll call the 5th level. I know it's technically more than that, but I see 5, I say 5, and this is 6, but 2 of those are sluices. You know what I did? Well, there's still time to fix this. I can make this a dam. This one is just going to be... Fine. I'll do that way. I forgot. But I remembered. Then you didn't forget. Look, it's fine. Okay, so corn rations are basically full. This is empty, so I'm going to go ahead... No, you know what? I still have tons of eggplant rations. I should just switch this back over to eggplant. Because those 56 will be stored in the food factory, and that's going to be fine. We need to plant more trees, too. I know that's a thing. I don't have space to plant them yet. Some of this stuff can be moved eventually, but until we have... here we go. Until we have more wood with which to replace the things that need to move, we have to leave them there, but the only way to really get a whole lot more wood more quickly is to go ahead and move them now and suffer while we wait for more wood to grow. So now that, things have stabilized a little bit, I am going to start transitioning these pines into oak trees. So, they are kind of spaced out a little bit. These are at 66%, which means they have another 10 days. These are at 11%, which, okay, I guess that means they also have about another 10 days. But we need to maximize the impact of every space. I need to make sure what the thing is here, 0.5 days. I'm going to have them get water in here first. I don't necessarily need them to splash it. Okay, or I could just, you know, do that. Oh, these ones on the outside didn't get splashed. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Really doesn't matter. Okay, so this dam needs to come in here. Oh, also it's cycle 11, by the way, which means this no longer matters. This is all going to be clean. Alright, so, you know, babysitting this for an entire drought cycle. How far did we get? Halfway. Halfway on the corn. The eggplants, well, we're not going to talk about some of those, but yeah, the others. Halfway in the eggplants. I know it probably made for some agonizing viewing over the last, oh, geez, hour, 6 minutes, but every little bit matters, folks. It really does. And, I don't have any more range on this forester, regrettably. So I'm probably going to have to start taking some of these cassavas out. In fact, that is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to start planting more trees here. These kohlrabis, we really don't need to have that many kohlrabis. We can replace those with cassavas. So now this is good. We don't have to worry about having that go anymore. Now we just have to build more dams. So now this comes back into effect here. I need to lower this. Let's say 0.6 just to, you know, make sure we have enough space. This is, when it gets full enough, going to start going off the back side of the map, which I know is going to irritate some of you, but that's, it's an occupational hazard at this point. But remember, it's not going to fill up that fast. We got some time. Especially if I lower the floodgates. I'm not going to touch the sluices. That's a mistake. I'm going to lower the floodgates to 0.45 because that's going to allow the water to flow. We can pause this. That's going to allow the water to flow continuously because remember, we have at least 5 full days. And at that time, I know they can finish this. That is not going to be a problem. The rest of this might take a little bit of finagling to get through, but we are going to do it just fine. So I have to continue planting some oak trees. I'm not going to plant here because I do want them to be able to, you know, walk down here. Not that it increases the range of anything, but just for the sake of what we're doing there. This lumberjack flag is... I guess this probably should move, but it's in a good spot, so I kind of don't want to move it. More micromanagement of planting spots. Oh, yes. You know that I know that you know. Why am I thinking of the Psych theme song now? That was a good show. Regardless, I'm going to go ahead and prepare the rest of this. Regrettably, we can't do anything else from up here. But this already is more space than we had before because of how we had this set up. And it's going to be even better once this back bit's taken care of. This basically should never close until we change the height of our floodgate here. Things progressing nicely. I should build another barracks, but I really want to use all this wood for the dam. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and clarify this because someone, if they've not already asked, I know they're definitely thinking it. No, every episode is not going to be, hey, let's build one more layer on the dam and that's it. It's just early on, we have to do what we have to do. We're gonna, we're gonna try. We're gonna try our best. But remember what I said at the beginning of this series. This is a marathon, not a sprint. It is going to be frustrating at times, but it's going to be really, really cool when at the end of this, at least for a small period of time, we will have 1,000 beavers. Will they die of starvation or thirst? Almost definitely. But we will have 1,000 beavers. And we will complete the goal. Even if only for a very short period of time. That I can promise you. But I really do think deep down that we are going to be able to find some way to get at least a full cycle with 1,000 of these guys. Might be December by the time we get there, but we're going to do it. We are going to do it. So, I guess now we can probably, safely put this on triple speed. Continuing to harvest trees, continuing to babysit, planting of additional trees, and so on, so forth. You know the drill. We do what we can with what we have, because that's what we can do. Continuing to make progress here. Continuing to make progress here. And then before too long, we are going to have to get rid of this slope here, and that's going to be what it is. At some point, we're going to have to build a bridge to get across to the back. That is definitely something we're going to do. But you know how this goes. It just ends up Flood management time. I'm going to put this down to 0.35 on single speed simulation, because otherwise this happens. This needs to remain open. This needs to evacuate more water. This is going to flood very slightly until this problem resolves itself. It's going to be okay. We're not going to panic. Instead, we're going to continue micromanaging trees. And continue to harvest trees and continue to do what we have to do. These things are growing again. These things are looking good. You know what I should probably do? I do have soybeans. I don't have storage for fermented soybeans, but I know we can start. Doing that. I need to build so much more storage than I have, and I want them to focus on building. Okay, this is not. This is not getting better. I need to lower that a little bit more. Try to evacuate as much of this as I can without this water going any higher. Get this going. Still more. I know we have to take this out, but I have to finish the back first. And then it'll get a lot easier. It'll get a lot easier once we have this thing full again. Why is this continuing to rise? It should not be continuing to rise. This is still open, right? Ah, okay. I have to force it open. I forgot the thing is very temperamental. Okay, well, oh boy. So, okay, this is definitely going to cause flooding. Okay, crash open the floodgates. See? You get one free flood per episode. I definitely should not have opened this like this, but it's not going to hurt anything. It's not going to do any... It's not like old Minecraft where you'd flood stuff and all your redstone would get washed away. I don't know if it still does that or not. But for right now, we can have all of this go out. It is totally fine. You know, just... No... Oh, okay, well, this is going to be a problem. I can promise you that. Okay, well... Alright, I didn't consider that. We might actually have a... might have a contamination here, but this is... Okay, this is now paused. That's paused, that's paused. They have no reason to come over here. Yeah, oh, you know, I was probably running this with no bad water for a really long time, and I didn't remember it. Okay, so here's where this is going to get really, really funky real quick. I'm going to close the sluices, because we do have about a full block of height before it's going to flood again, because I need this to drain, and I do not want the bad water... How does this always happen? I do not want the bad water to do what it's about to do. So, just don't... Just do me a kindness here, beavers. Do not walk in the sludge. Just do me that kindness. What, can you do that for me? All we have to do is stop this. Just let all of this go away. It just has to drain off the side of the map. And now it's going to flood again. But I think... No? No, it's actually looking okay. Very, very slowly. We're going to have to open this again. Okay. Now it can open. We can start letting water out before it comes out this way and floods all of this. It's just this backup here from this dam is fine. This is... I'm not touching the sluice levels. See, this is always going to flood because there's only two of these. But that's not a level drop off, so it really shouldn't be an issue. Well, regardless, the bad water can't back up now. Is what I'm getting at. Okay, just a little bit left here. I know. Just a little. Wow, this episode's long. I'm gonna get flamed. But as soon as this piece is done, then I'm gonna have to take this slope out. Unfortunately, I do have to demolish this manually. I can't just do whatever. This is going to be fine. This is already at like minimum level, so it can't back up. It has more than two edges. Oh, I'm so afraid of triple speed water physics, but we got to move this along, or you got to move it along. Can't be reached. Okay. Now it can. Problem solved. I thought for a second I had to splash these crops, but I don't. I don't, because that's no longer a concern. Now, you know, the icing on the cake here would be if we got our bad tide warning right now. Oh, I need to plant some more trees. Here it was saying that we needed to, you know, actually do this, and then I didn't do it. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. Alright. No whammies. Come on. Do me a kindness here. Oh, this is basically done. They just have to come over here and do that. Alright. Good. Good. No drought warning. No bad tide warning. We have a we have a chance. We have a chance to get this done. You know, this might actually be like double the volume, based on, you know, adding all this plus another couple levels. I think we've made a good prioritization choice. It might not look like it, but I think we've done about the best we can. Now finish that. Good. Now, next order of business: demolish the slope. Absolute highest priority. So what this is going to entail is once this is demolished, we're going to have to build up. They can technically not come up from this side, so we're going to have to build some stairs up this side. But this is already cleared out, so we know we can do that. If I really wanted to be smart, I guess what I would have done is not built this levee and put another stairs here. I miss my ladders so much, you have no idea. But don't forget, this is already built up, so they can technically do this, and then I just have them walk all the way across. But first, they've got to take this out, so get that done. All right. Build those. They should be able to do all of this. They can build 2 from down here. Nobody can climb up behind this anymore, and then these guys can do the rest from the top. And I think that is going to put us in a very, very good place. Like I haven't been saying that this whole time already. But now we can finally turn on the industrial lumber mill. We had enough logs the whole time. We did not have enough logs or time to make another level on this, but boy, I sure hope people aren't going to get mad in an 1.5 hour long episode. I try. I really do. But let's go ahead and put in another tank for drinking water, which I guess... I know this is kind of far away, but this is land that is always going to be polluted. So it just makes sense to take whatever land you can't grow things on and use it to store things. Plant a couple more trees here, continuing very slowly but steadily to, well, increase the amount of trees. Probably going to need to put another forester in at some point so they can do what they need to do. Food is still looking good. Water pumping needs to increase substantially, so I'm going to go ahead and turn on all of these. It's going to take some beavers out of these other jobs here, but oh, I need to have this bad water pump be pumping. Which, is that going to take builders away? That's totally fine. We're getting pretty close to this not being a problem anymore. Anyway, it's going to overflow until it reaches these dams. I should have built those first, whatever. But I am pretty positive about where we are now, so I'm going to triple speed this again. Let them take care of what they got to take care of. Keep an eye on these trees. And, you know, this episode's already getting super long. And we've accomplished basically everything I wanted to accomplish today. So I'm going to go ahead and start our end-of-episode stuff here. You already know, I cannot do this without the support of the Beard Boosters, who, you know, contribute directly financially to the channel, making it possible to be not having any sponsors. Except you guys, I guess you're the sponsors. If you ever watch Road Guy Rob, a channel I really, really like, who talks about like roads and infrastructure stuff. He has these like fake sponsor spots where he's like, this video is brought to you, and then makes up some stupid fake company, but then is like, oh, surprise, you guys actually support this, so I don't have to, you know, take sponsorships from whatever. But that's what you guys are for this. So, you know, you make it possible for me to just have fun playing the games and not worry about, oh, I have to record a spot for this game nobody wants to play, or sell you a mattress or frozen food. Like, those products are probably fine, but I just want to have fun with the games and cultivating a good positive community here. And for the very most part, you guys are really, really, really good about that, And I am always going to be thankful for the positive and helpful community that we've got. And, you know, the world needs more of that. But I'm going to take this out of triple speed now. We're just about done with our rest of our reservoir here, which means we can finally fix, not the sluices, we're not touching those. We can finally fix our floodgates here just as soon as they get these last 4 logs in there. We can put in a couple more of these trees and all of this spot there. Get that taken care of. And yes, indeed, we are looking tremendously good. We already have storage for water here. We got 1,000. We have a capacity of almost 2,000. We're getting there, folks. Remember, to have 1,000 beavers for a 30-day drought, we're going to need at least 64,000 water. Plus a little bit more for irrigation, and when we get into hydroponic crops, I'm absolutely certain we're going to have some of those. We're getting there, folks. Very, very slowly, but we are getting there. So, I do need them to finish this one levee here, and it's just about done. So maybe a little premature in my hey, we actually finished thing, but you know, it is what it is. And now they can go all the way around the top here and take care of that. But yeah, I'm having such a good time with this series. It is so much fun. All the series are fun. Water Beavers is frustrating more than anything else, but it's still fun. I'm glad we get to do this. Let's put this up at 0.65. These are set 2.5. And now the reservoir can fill up. We have so much more space. And because of how we've chosen to build this, we can very, very early on in the next episode, not today because this is already way too long, we can build this up one, and then we can put a bridge here to go across. And then, because remember, this is already at the correct height, we can come up here, because we still have up here. And we can put in some platforms, and then the bridge can connect to the platform, so on and so forth. And then we're going to be in business to keep expanding the height on this, and you know, we've passed the danger zone. I said that a couple episodes ago, but now it's all gravy. We just have to fill up our reservoirs, fill up our storage, fill up our food, do some more research, get some more beavers, and we're going to be in fantastic shape. But we don't even know when we're going to have the next bad tide or drought. I mean, realistically, we're going to get in the next couple days. But for now, we can end this episode on a happy note, having accomplished a whole lot of stuff, maybe in, you know, a little bit more time than I would have preferred. But I love this series. I'm glad we get to do this together. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Whatever it is you're doing, stay safe, have fun, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.